another very visionary person. Yeah. So these people were with new ideas. So they were wanting to get this thing, private sector, back into the business in any case. So I became because they didn't know how to go, but they said, when I just told them what I want to do, he said, my God, this is a great idea. Then he was Prime Minister, Rajiv Gandhi always backed me up, to the extent that, but political system in Haryana is such, and whenever a Chief Minister came, and I being also a Jat by, and another Jat Chief Minister, first thing was, KP Singh ko ragda dena hai. So I remember when we started, Arnold Palmer asked me, what kind of course Mr. Singh you want? I said, the better.
Arnold Palmer was asking you that?
Yeah, so Arnold Palmer asked me, he said, Mr. Singh, what kind of course? I said, as good as any best in the world. He said, come on now. I said, yeah. He said,
he must have been stunned with the raw material available.
Yeah, and his point was, they said, it's going to cost you bomb. I said, I don't bother about money. Why don't you try putt?
Okay, yeah, I will. In India, unlike the rest of the world, for example, Dubai is a great example, the term real estate is often looked at one which has got complexities, murkiness, uncertainties. It's sort of not necessarily straight and transparent. Why in India?
This is a very interesting question you asked me, okay? First, you got to go for the historical background to this. The reason for that is, this was precisely 1956 or 57 when the decision, 55 decision was taken by the government. Remember that time it used to be socialistic pattern of society as a way of living.
Yes.
So it was good decision because that is how India has remained a democracy. But in urban development, as I said, once they said that no private sector in urban land development. See, there is no development allowed in land. How do you make a home? You got to have land. So what happened, people, was public sector could not do. With the result, another sector of economy came up. We call them fly-by-night operator, unauthorized people. Now these sharks came in. It's like getting into a muddy water. So most of people say, what the hell are you doing? Because 80 when I started fresh, this was muddy water.
Yeah.
But there is where the decision comes on. That is where entrepreneurism comes in. I was lucky because I was hungry for business. God gave me help of a person like Rajiv Gandhi came on the scene. But now at least the cleaner thing has come around. There is a lot of transparency has come in. So when you ask me a question about the IPO, when you start becoming big, and my son's style of working is very different. He wants to be the biggest. And frankly, he became.
Yes.
DLF was listed as one of the largest players in the world. So it's very clear that you cannot be big if you remain closed.
You've got to share it with the public.
And you've got to go bigger.
There is sort of this perception that, of course, you know, we did have bubbles and lots of high points, bullishness, bearishness in the property story. There's often a sense people say that DLF was probably a better story when it was not listed than it was listed. How do you defend that statement?
No, it totally, I don't know, this is first time I've heard it. In fact, I've heard the other way around more than this is first time. But anyway, assuming what you are saying somebody said is completely wrong. It was, I think, being listed, it brings more transparency, right? Naturally more controls. And I think for us it meant cultural change in our thinking and organization, which has happened, which is happening every day.
Right.
So I don't believe that, but as you know, when you are listed, if
the scrutiny is very high.
No, scrutiny is high, correctly, but there is another perception. If the shares, you're going to think, share value go down, a shareholder sometime will say, oh, my value has gone. What have we got to do? We don't manipulate shares.
There was a time, of course, when at the peak, when you were part of every single billionaire list, a trillionaire list actually, at various stages. So from $30 billion